All right, everybody, we're going to get started on putting this 454 together. This is a Mark IV block that I've got stripped down right now. It was a stock short block with a flat tabbit cam in it. Here is all the pistons I got laid out. Got them laid out in order with the bearings that I pulled out with it to keep track of which ones were in the worst shape. Got an oil pump there, timing gear. Here's the old cam. It did have one lobe starting to go flat, but I got a big hydraulic roller for it now. And then I got the crank and all the bearings and main caps down there. So right now I'm gonna run this ball hone through it. 4250 bore, 320 grit ball hone with some WD-40, and I got some lint-free rags. But I'm gonna run this ball hone through all of them and get a nice crosshatch back, and then I'm gonna wash it down and start putting all the parts together. But I'll walk through all the specs on the build as I'm putting it together. But this is my first engine I'm building, so here's what we're starting with right now. Alright, like I said, that's 320 grit on there. I've already got all the other ones done. This is my last hole. Hit the trigger a couple times to get in there, coat everything in WD-40, and then medium speed in and out like this. You can kind of see as you're going the oil what it's doing, but you kind of know what to look for if you know what the crosshatch pattern looks like. You just do something like this. Alright, a little time's gone by. I used the hose, rinsed her down, and then I ended up going through it with the ball hone again one more time because I had some scarring. I don't know if you can see right there. All of them got it, but you can't catch your fingernail on it, so not too worried about it. The only issue is the one in that board. You can see that pitting right there, which I don't know, engine ran before and I put a ball hone through it, so I couldn't have hurt it any, but that one you can feel with your finger just barely right there. But yeah, I ran the ball hone through it twice and then washed it down good. I put the hose through the main port here on the oil filter, and you can watch all the water come out of all the oil ports in your cam and your mains right there, and clean out all the oil passages. And then I ended up putting a blow gun from an air compressor in these head bolt holes, and mud was just coming out of these, so that's one thing to check when you're doing this. But yeah, 2 times with the 320 grit, and then brake cleaned it, all the sludge out because it makes a little bit of metal dust, and then I wipe some WD-40 on everything before it decides to flash rust. She's all oiled up right now though, so we can push her back in the garage and start throwing in the mains and measuring those with some plastic gauge. I think I'm gonna have to order 1/1000 under bearings because that's what I took out, so we will see. Push her in the garage and check it out. Alright, I got her back outside and flipped over. Gonna be checking my main bearing clearances right now, so gonna dry all these up on the block and then pop in. I got a set of Speed Pro Federal Mogul standard size main bearings. I'm gonna put them in and see what the clearances are. When I read online, wrote it down here so I don't forget. Main bearing 30 to 35, but 35 be a little bit better, and then rod bearing somewhere around 30, and that's torquing it dry at 95 on the mains, and I think I got 7/16 caps, so that'd be 70 foot-pounds on those. But I'm not going to be checking the rods right now. Basically, when I pulled the rod bearings out, a couple of them said 001 on the bottom, so I'm assuming they're 1/1000 under. So I'm gonna run through the mains real quick and check all those, and if some of the clearances come in a bit big, I'm just gonna order a set of 1/1000 under bearings for the whole engine, so I can do it right. But yeah, right now I'm gonna dry all these off, slap some bearings in, and then I'll be cleaning the crank off with some brake clean real quick, setting it in there, torquing it down, and seeing what we get on some plastic gauge. Snapping in some main bearings, line up the tab with the tab in the motor, clean them up good, then you set it in there and kind of walk it down evenly. Then you want it flush on both tops. Here's 2 of them done. That's before. There's the bearing in. You want your oil hole to line up good. And then this is the part you want flush, so your main cap torques correctly. Alright, the crank's all brake cleaned up, dried off. I'm going to set it in there and see how it goes. This thing's heavy. Setting it down as smooth as I can. There she is. Time to put some plastic gauge in her and then clean up some main caps and torque it and see what values we get. I'm using red sealed power plastic gauge, measures 002 to 006. All my mains are cleaned up and set on there right now. There's the plastic gauge right there. That's all it is. You break yourself off a little piece and then slap this main cap on. Here's the bearing in it. Line up the tab. Be good to go. Mine have an arrow on them and they're also numbered for their position. So you just want to set that on there like that. Try not to move it too much. And then we're going to torque it to spec, and then it'll tell us our oil clearance. Alright, so torqued it with my torque wrench. That is probably not ideal for this application, but it's all I got right now. So there's that plastic gauge smushed down. I did torque it to 95, so I'm going to use the gauge that they give you, and this one's falling between to me it looks right on 40. It's a little bit smaller than the 003. Alright everybody, I just finished checking my last oil clearance of the main caps. They're a little bigger than I'd like them to be. I wrote them down right here. First one we had 4 thousandths, 2 had 5, 4, 5, 5.